Right guys, we are in the Royal Albert Hall and I am of course joined by the one and only Mr. Colin Bryce. We're doing some promo for the Royal Albert Hall show today, which is going to be on the 9th of July.
I live here in the Royal Albert Hall. It's my place in London.
You're looking forward to bringing the Giants Live back here?
Wow, yeah. I mean, come on. How much fun did you have last time?
It was an amazing show. We've had a lot of fun today as well. It's been good, and I think the whole 2022 season is going to be incredible.
Yeah.
I've seen the release of the Europe's Strongest Man lineup. Yeah. Really impressed with the lineup you guys have gone for. You look like you're really trying to go a bit more diverse this year and get a lot more different competitors in. Is that a conscious thing that you and Darren have kind of sat down and thought about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's Europe, so we have to respect the best in Europe. There's always going to be a couple of guys who feel a bit hard done by. But for the last 2 years, because of travel problems, the obvious problems, it's been hard to get all the best in Europe there. So this time we went all out. We were going to get everyone there, and I think it's a pretty darn good lineup. There's even some new faces to Giants Live who are not new faces at all. People like Kelvin de Ruyter, who is this fantastic Dutch strongman, 6'9" nearly, and world truck pulling champion. He's deserved a go for a long time. Champions League champion.
Absolutely, yeah. He's done very well over the last few years. It's good to see these different faces. I think that's the most.
Thor is there. It's nice to have another Icelander there. We loved having Thor there when he rocked the house always. But Thor deserves to fill those boots now. He's a WSM finalist.
Yeah, he is. I think that's the thing right now. We've got so many athletes across the world that are worthy of an invite.
Yeah.
So it's good to see different faces, and I feel bad sometimes saying that because obviously a lot of the British guys are my friends, and it's always great to see them. We want to see those popular faces, but we're not going to get the sport growing unless we kind of go into these other territories, get more people represented, get fans from different parts of the world, and the talent is there. That's a tough thing. I think you kind of mentioned it. The last few years have been tough. Restrictions seem to be a lot better now. I know with certain athletes, the likes of getting maybe payment over for the deadlift championships, that would be
something amazing. Something I really. Payman is such a nice fella. He's such a nice guy, and I really do anything to get him over here. I sincerely hope he can go to World's Strongest Man. But I mean, it's. I think there's other restrictions in the world that are beyond Omicron and beyond us.
Yeah, I think sometimes people don't realise that. It's not just COVID that's affected a lot of this travel for certain countries. There's other
reasons, and just the length of time it takes to get visas. But Pryman, I'm a big fan, So the biggest deadlift of the year in 2021, right?
He did indeed. No, I believe he did. Yeah. Well, first show coming up is Britain's Strongest Man.
Yeah. Wow. Looks like a goodie, doesn't it?
It does look like a goodie. Obviously, the last show of last year was Britain's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
So a very short reign for.
Do you want to know something insane? We have sold. We've got like 300 tickets left.
Really?
In the entire stadium. And it only happened 4 months ago.
That's crazy.
It just shows you the quality of the guys.
So going back to Sheffield, it's a fun arena. The Britain's Strongest Man.
It's
obviously.
A big arena. I mean,
it is. It is.
Yeah.
But Britain's Strongest Man is a big title. There's so many guys. I mean, Luke Stoltman, for instance, he's been Europe's Strongest Man now, but he still hasn't managed to win that British title.
Do you see him winning it? It'd be interesting.
Honestly, no, I don't see him winning it. I think my personal view is the events really favour Tom again. I think he's going to be very hard to beat. I know the Stoltmans have mentioned that they want to focus on the Arnolds, which is a week later. How do you feel about as a promoter when there's other comps coming up?
I think the Arnolds always, I think it's a beautiful contest. I love the Arnolds, and I've been lucky enough to MC it there. I've had a booth there selling stuff. I mean, I'm a fan. I've been to the one in Brazil, the one in Australia. I've been, obviously helped Eddie with his in Britain. I always fear about the weight of things at the Arnolds. What percent of men will get through unscathed?
Sure.
Because, unbelievably, World's Strongest Man isn't filmed live at Christmas. you may well know this fact, and therefore it's a good way after the Arnolds. But if any injuries happen, I think having spoken with them, Jan and Magnus, people like whoever, obviously. I think the more of the big contests we can just pull back a fraction on weight in every event.
Yeah.
In every event. Do you know what I mean? More, but the Arnold's is famed for being heavy, so it's particularly hard for them to sign up to that whatever, Columbus Agreement or whatever you want to call it. That we, not that I want things to get lighter. I just want people to have more chances to do 1 and 2 day shows 7, 8, 10 times a year.
Sure.
And get through it
without killing themselves.
Yeah. Is that bad?
No, it's not bad. And I've always said, like, the athletes have to be selective about what they do now. I think it's impossible to do every single show. It's just, the sport is too brutal now. It's not like when I started and you had Mariusz Pudzianowski would compete in every single show and he'd win every single show, but he was going at 80%. The standard is...
For me, 80%.
Yeah.
Maybe 90. Next event, 100.
But you know what I mean? Back then it was like a training session for him.
Yeah.
I think the standard as a whole has grown so much, no one can do that now. You can't go to these shows and win at treating it like a training session. You've got to be going there.
This made me laugh, actually. It was Zydrunas and Terry had a theory. If you do 9 contests in a row, weekend after weekend, it's always the 9th one who'll get injured. Who does 9 contests weekend after weekend?
Well, I did 6 in a row and got injured on the 6th.
So. Oh, really? Okay.
That was the start of my demise.
Terry was convinced that was the magic number. The 9th one, you take a break and then do another 9. No problem.
Yeah, you just don't see that type of thing anymore.
Madness, though. Madness.
It's crazy. But back then, you were able to. Farmers' walk weights were 120 kilos per hand. The log was 120 kilos.
Yeah.
They weren't doing the crazy numbers that we see now.
Big weights.
I think athletes are always going to be selected, which obviously, as a promoter, means you might miss out on certain athletes at shows.
Yeah.
I've seen Tom's not down to do Europe's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
Does that upset you, or you okay with it?
I think it's Tom has different reasons why. There's multiple reasons actually, but you just have to put on the best contest you can, put up as much prize money as you can. The crowd has always been magnificently loyal and just loves it. I mean, I even throw down this challenge to the Arnold. Okay, you might have Arnold there and you might have a big crowd in Expo Hall, but is it the same as an amphitheatre with 12,000 people? You've won it, Laurence. What was it like?
Absolutely. I mean, we're sat in the Royal Albert Hall right now and it's eerily quiet right now, but walking out here last year, that returning show.
I mean, right here you've had Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Muhammad Ali. This place...
Iron Bibby breaking
Iron Bibby's log record.
It's
the first ever grand sumo competition outside of Japan. I mean, all is it.
Well, this is like, it's had so much diversity here, hasn't it?
You walk around downstairs, actually, you see some of the posters. There's only a select few they can put up on the wall. There's, like Ali and his signature. I'd love to get Iron Bibby's poster up on the wall.
It must have meant a lot to you and Darren to be able to put the show on here. And now returning, that must be pretty epic.
Oh, yeah. It was just a beautiful night. It's kind of night you don't go out and get drunk afterwards. You just kind of go home and smile. And just, it's nice. And then you slowly watch the YouTube videos come out afterwards. And I loved what Liz put together for you guys. It was, it was full of kind of emotion. And it was just beautiful, but it captured very much what the night was like. I think it was a huge moment for you. It was a huge moment for the sport, if I can say that. I always we claim to have done Madison Square Garden, and it was 100 years after doing the last Strongman contest in Madison Square Garden. That in 2008 with the Super Series, Ulf Benson, myself, and Jasper Albinson did it there. But in truth, it was the WAMU Theatre. And that's the truth. It wasn't the garden. It's the one that's tacked onto it. But this is the big daddy. This is built in 1870 for Prince Albert. He died before it was finished. You just have to look around. It's outrageous. This is a wonderful fact from the guy outside, the security guard outside. After Bibby's world record, this place went mad. Everyone came in. It was 5 days after restrictions ended. people, everyone masked, looking around, a little bit nervous, a lot of social anxiety, you know, even you know, I was like, I picked up the microphone in front of a big crowd, you know, here we go, hello everybody, you know, slightly breaking voice, hello, everyone okay? And everyone went, yeah, and it kind of built up, here we go. And then suddenly the actual happened, and I went outside, and this seasoned security guy here, must have been 65, in all my time, 40 whatever years, I've never heard a roar like what I've just heard in there. I went, what do you mean? What do you mean? What? As in, he went, I've seen them all. They've all been here. Nothing was as loud as what I've just heard.
Well,
maybe he's had a new hearing aid problems.
maybe, but
it was,
you know, for me, who's been in those car park shows that we used to do with a few friends and someone's dog yapping away, to coming out here and getting just an eruption of noise, it hits you straight away, and the acoustics in here kind of help that even more. Yeah. So it is a special venue. I'm sure this year's show is going to be, you know, as good, if not even better.
The old car park days when there's less crowd than athletes. Do you know what, folks? Let's save time. Let's introduce you to the athletes.
Are you proud of how far you've kind of brought it?
Oh, Blas, that's very kind of you to say, but we, as in the royal everybody's brought it. Guys like you've given up tendon and bits of your body to make us get here, and I'm so grateful. You know, if you've just come into Strongman, you probably think it's quite glamorous nowadays.
I get these youngsters message me, and
my cravat. You know, there was no cravats in a wet car park in Coventry the first time I met Felix. You know.
Well, we've been in Turkey doing a competition in Turkey with equipment falling apart. And,
don't. Jeez, that was awful. That was awful. Do you remember Irving Katona? Hey Colin, why don't you just sweep it into the truck? That was the stone carrier.
Yeah, I think one of the athletes who was carrying it, and he put it down, and he's still holding this little chunk of stone in his hand. He was a good character as well. Actually.
Well, I have to say, Darren Sadler, my partner, came into my life, and he, as he says, it was no more Brycey and his orange cones stolen from the highway.
He's definitely brought
he's been magnificent.
Because you both have different strengths, which is what you want in a
I'm slightly stronger. Oh, we're talking about he does. We only ever faced off once in a strongman contest, and he beat me himself. No one's going to be surprised about hearing that.
Dan was a pretty good strongman, so I don't think that's
exactly
a bad thing.
So he rubs my nose in it on a regular basis.
I'm sure you were better at bobsleigh.
He did a lot of bobsleigh.
So something Darren actually mentioned to me is that it's not the Giants Live shows aren't the biggest in terms of prize money for one show, but I believe you guys give the most prize money out of anyone else for the whole season.
I think we're going to do $500,000 this year, assuming axle press record gets done.
Yeah.
And the 50,000. Actually, there's going to be $55,000 on the deadlift this year.
Okay.
So there's a slight, footnote there, but yeah, it will be over $500,000 the first time, which I think is okay. Probably, if the Shack or somebody's watching this, he'll be like, "What? Chump change?" But I think nowadays, strongmen don't have to compete every single week like a footballer.
Sure.
And they can go off and get sponsorship. They have their own YouTube channels. It's a great thing, YouTube. You know what I mean? You got into it after your career, but these guys can get into it at the start of their career, and there's a whole network of things they can do.
There's a lot more opportunities now to carve a niche and be a pro athlete.
Strongman's kind of cool.
It is now.
It is, it genuinely is.
I remember going to fitness expos and stuff like that. No one having a clue who the strongmen were.
Were you in the Arnold?
Yes.
You were in the Arnold. That was unbelievable.
It was crazy.
Ed was like a rock star on the stage at the end. People were mad. I thought, jeez, you don't even call this the Arnold's, call it the Eds.
Very different kind of feel to what it was when I was starting out. Which is cool. It's cool to see that growth, and hopefully we continue that and make things better.
If you think about sorry, I have to blow about Felix, you, Big Tell, you guys have been an underpin of WSL for years. And I think that's partly why it's so popular in Britain now. But I want countries like France, Germany, Russia, Australia, back into Scandinavia, make all those really popular, and I'd love to push more in Canada and obviously America. America should be 20 times bigger than anywhere else, and it is bigger, but we need more big professional contests there.
Would you like to take Giants Live back over to America?
So we got this America versus UK contest.
Yeah.
Because personally, I think the UK is stronger in terms of the athletes.
Sure.
And I think I'd like to see that contest happen. And we are. We're going to see it in Liverpool at the end of the year. I'm going to be hated for saying that comment. I think it's true.
I think as a Brit, you're okay to say that. I
guess. Presumably, this isn't geo-blocked in America. But
I mean, obviously, some of our American fans may totally disagree, and that's absolutely cool. But it's going to be. I think it'll be a really fun show. It's almost like a Ryder Cup of Strongman, isn't it? It's kind of that kind of feel to it.
Wait till you hear what we were going to pull out for some of the things. It'll blow.
Is there anything you can just give us a sneak peek on?
I put it this way, legends could come back. You didn't know you were coming back. No.
Old legends could be coming back.
We'll sign the deal later, Loz.
But I hear you're going to have like women involved, you're going to have different weight classes potentially, old guys, young guys.
Old guys, young guys, we're going to have the smorgasbord of strength. It'll be a series of events. People going out there, but not like the 3 men doing the deadlift at the same time. For me, that's always a bit like it's going to be done in a bit more dramatic and television friendly kind of format. Not that the night will be like some sort of television recorder program. Giants Live is all about the fast-paced show, really good fun. Actually, you can be faster with team events.
There's only 2 teams.
Because we're going to have captains, like the Ryder Cup will send out guys, and then 3-ring circus. They just
you're not going to have everyone doing every event.
No.
Okay, that's cool. Well, then maybe Uncle Oz can step back in.
Auntie Liz is over there with an eyebrow.
Don't worry about Auntie Liz. She's okay.
You fancy one?
Well, I'm doing a powerlifting comp in a few months, so let me see how that goes. See if I get through it.
I'm casting for some big fishes at the moment.
Depends what events you want me to do.
I love Brian Shaw to come and Brian, come on, man.
Brian, guys, get Brian involved.
I've been working on him, but it's the last Friday in November, which is a tricky one for him. But there's some, there may even be the WWE guys I've been in touch with.
Interesting.
That was very thinking.
Well, I know a few of them, so especially ones that are involved in Strongman. But there's been a few.
This one hasn't been involved in Strongman for a while.
How long?
Well, leave that one out because
But he's been involved in Strongman.
Maybe.
Well, there's not that many then. We can be looking at.
I'll be careful. If I say this now when he sees this, then the fee would go up.
So what are you looking forward to most this year?
Just being around the fun and seeing the guys again. Just actually properly enjoying it. Last year it was a bit mad. There's 6 shows, almost too fast to enjoy it. Looking back, I enjoyed it. But my parents once said when we went on a horrible 6,000-mile drive around America when I was 6 years old. They said you'll enjoy it in retrospect, Colin. And after about halfway through, I was crying. When are we getting to retrospect? I enjoyed it in retrospect. I didn't at the time. It was painful. Yeah. It was painful. It was stressful. It was a hell of a stress.
Do you feel that stress when you're putting these shows on?
The financial risk. You go and hire a hall like this. You're gambling in a pot. Maybe a nice-sized house. It's proper high stakes.
I do remember the times where you've done that in the past and it's not paid off.
Yeah.
I remember a team competition. Was it England against Poland, something like that? Yeah. There was about 10 people in the crowd.
I didn't risk the money on that. That wasn't an official Giants Live. That was some Teo Audi plug. That was at Turkey, wasn't it? Jeez. It's so easy to misfire, even in America. If you get it wrong, like we had a massive success in Mohegan Sun. We thought we could replicate this anywhere, but then we realised when Marius left, it was all the Poles who turned up to see Marius, and the American crowd wasn't quite ready yet. So that's something I think we'll be in America next year with something big though. and it would be that team's event coming back.
That's
I'd like to bring it to America.
I'm sure some of the guys watching would love to see some of these big events in America.
Yeah. I hope I need the American athletes as well, though. Not solicitors as well. Who does that? I need you guys to help back, and I know probably it's difficult. It's difficult because they have to offset all the risk once you've reached that level. So hopefully we can try and get things done, because that's the only way to do it, is everyone working together.
So what have we got this year? We've got Britain's coming up in February.
Yes,
very soon.
Who's going to win?
I think Tom is going to win.
I think
it's a shame Hicksy's out.
Do you think Bish can do it again?
I think Bish will be second.
You do?
Yeah. I think better.
Do you think Bish should have gone full-time professional? Someone asked me this the other day. I said yes. 100%.
I think if you get the chance to go professional, take it.
Because you'll never know how good you could have been.
You can always go back to working as well. You're not going to be able to do this forever. So I took the chance to go professional. Didn't make much money from it at the time, but I'm glad I gave it everything, and I ended up doing okay. Lots of regrets, or not regrets, lots of mistakes. But I had some brilliant moments as well that I probably wouldn't have had if I.
You pass them on to people now, though.
Yeah.
You've got your own platform, which is great. No, it's great.
But
I think I
would never tell an athlete not to take the chance to go pro if they got it. So, for me, it's the right decision to make.
There's only one man who's even more, Rob Frampton. Rob Frampton, at the drop of a hat, would be the contest in any scenario.
Rob made himself available.
He always did.
And he's still training.
He'd never say no, even at the last second he needed somebody. I'll be there.
Yeah, it was
great.
Yeah, Rob was good. I've seen him turn up with his bag at last minute to a number of shows.
Europe's strongest man then. The lineup's pretty solid there. How do you think? Who do you win that one? You're going to say Novikov, aren't you?
No, I'm not going to say anyone because I don't know what the events are yet. So you're going to tell me what the events are.
Say this.
I know there's a log for Max.
Okay, whatever the events are, they're always. This is maybe not well known, but they're always quite close to what World's Strongest Man will be.
Is that because of the distance from World's Strongest Man?
Because it would be incorrect of us to try and do totally different events.
So Colin Bryce, what's the events for Worlds this year?
Well, now people know. Now people know that when we do Europe, you'll get a guess. We'll get a guess, but they won't be exact, obviously.
Yeah.
Medleys and deadlies.
I really like the lineup for Europe, so I think it's going to be a great competition. I'm so pleased to see Klitschkowski back. That's cool. Obviously Novikov coming back.
Keeps it together.
Cool to see Luke Stoltman there trying to defend his title. Good to see Luke Richardson back. I think it's a shame he's not doing Britain's Strongest Man, but with him being a youngster, I'm glad he's not rushing back, because I've made that mistake of rushing back.
Very sensible, isn't he?
He is being sensible, which is a good.
So it's rare in such a meathead sport.
Well, you do. You kind of want to be involved. You feel like if you're not involved, you're out of the loop. So to have that kind of head on him and be patient, it takes a lot of discipline. So
it takes a heck of a lot to sort of step back, almost reverse train, prehab, rehab, even change body shape a bit, and then come back again. It almost takes like a semi-retirement, and then you come back and you realise it's difficult. Terry did it. You've done it.
Absolutely. We've got Pavlo Kordiaka, who won OSG.
Do you think he's big enough?
I don't think he's going to challenge to win, but he's a good athlete.
Do you have to be big? I don't know.
No, Novikov's not that big.
He's not.
Not at all. I mean, he's going to be a
somehow his persona makes him bigger now.
He
probably
does.
Wasn't that big before he won it, was he?
You look at Ahola wasn't that big, Pudzianowski wasn't that big.
No.
Even Magnus Ver wasn't that big. So
Pudzianowski's bigger than Novikov.
Yes. He certainly was at certain points of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, Pudzianowski obviously was so ripped as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be an interesting show. It's hard to pick a winner right now without seeing the events, and I think we've got a few comps to come before that, which will give us a little bit more idea of what kind of shape people are in.
Okay. Big question. Bibby, do the log record?
He's more than capable.
Yeah.
I've never met a man with shoulders like him. Like the shoulder power he has is ridiculous. I think his technique still needs a little bit of work, which is scary when you think the guy's breaking world records and he can get better.
Yeah.
And I think we've got to have really strict judging.
Okay. I'm going to send you a video on that. Maybe you can use it at some point. I went and studied frame by frame 2 high motion super slow-mo cameras. Bibby actually does a perfect lockout before everybody even realizes. Everyone thinks it's the second motion, right? When you actually watch Magnus Fair, he's giving the down signal as he's going back and doing the second motion. Now everyone's caught up on the fact that because he actually locks it sideways in the second one, right? I know what you're thinking. But you watch him in the first one. The first move when he went up, he snapped it straight to arm's length and then brings his eyes forward at that, but he then starts falling backwards. Now, here's a question for you. What is a momentary pause? Is 4 to 6 camera frames of 25 a second enough?
It's a debate that people will get into without question. My view is to never blame the athlete. If a referee gives you a down signal, being an athlete, I put that bar there.
I'm not just saying this. Magnus got it right. He got it right.
I know there's a lot of debate, and you know,
people think it was the second movement, but you actually watch it. I've seen this in slow motion. His hands go out, down as he's going backwards, pushing off that way. You're like, so I reversed it again. I went, no, oh no, he stopped it in the first bit. No, and even it was just so quick snap, and then he stepped backwards.
I would love to see him come back, smash 230, and make it unquestionable. Make people kind of just stop even questioning it, because I think he can. I think he can go 240. You know, I believe he's got that kind of power in him.
I'll also say something, right? I refereed the previous world record, and I don't really referee much anymore. Guess who phoned me up and said, Brycey, I'm not sure that was a record.
Oh, Zadrunas has made his...
No, his 228. Actually, it was Magnus Fair. Magnus went, Brycey, I can see, you know, he's done a trick on you.
Yeah.
I went, what do you mean? He went, he snapped it out forward and then started falling forward. And I watched it again, I went, yeah, he did. But he's locked out. Well, at what point is someone locking forward not a good log lift?
It's funny, because I think with records...
I look to Liz for the answer.
With records, are we at that point now we need almost like a rule book?
Yeah, for certain things.
I don't know about how you feel, but I see some lifts and I almost stop even finding them interesting. Like a quick powerlifting, for example. I've seen some of the really high squats. Yeah. It just doesn't interest me anymore. So it's like they're lifting ridiculous numbers, but it's just...
Lars, I totally get it, and I guess this is how it's happened, is that there wasn't really other people doing these things since IFSA.
Yeah.
And now there's other people coming in, and it's great they're coming in, and they even say stuff like, we're going to make them pull their socks off, and they do. It's great. Competition is incredibly healthy anyway, and promoters should be competing as well. But that it also can pull the standards down from that careful. And I'm not saying they are, and I'm not saying we are somehow above anybody. Not saying that at all.
With the log and the deadlift coming up this year, do you think we're going to see new records? Like I said, I think Bibby can do it. I'm not convinced about a deadlift record. I do think we might see a log record.
How close was that deadlift record though with Makarov, Ivan Makarov? He was close, wasn't he?
He gave it a great. He's got great power off the floor though. And I think that's...
Okay,
I'd love to see that. I would personally love to see it. I just still think we're a year or two away.
If Pyman's there, my man Pyman.
Yeah? You got
Pyman.
faith?
I do, I really do. I think he's been sent from the heavens to do it. There's something about him.
You guys are going to do everything you can to get him over?
Anyone. Can I do the quick challenge now? If you are, the deadlift lineup is never a finite lineup. It's still growing if you are good enough. But you know, if you're in the 480, 490 region, no, genuinely, if you're a 450 man, let us speak to us. Rauno. There's a little Rauno
fan.
Right. No, I'm joking. Rauno, of course, Rauno will be there. I hope you'll be there. Please, Rauno.
Do you know what I want to see?
Please.
I want to see a competition where 10 guys pull 1,000 pounds. And that I do think is possible. I think we could have a lineup of 10 guys that could do it.
Yeah, but suddenly what you pulled, what did you do, 445 or something?
I said this
starts to look shabby.
When I think it was 2014.
Did you have the world record at some point?
At one point.
Record, yeah.
I think 2014 we had potentially 10 guys, or the whole field could have pulled 400 kilos. Unfortunately, Kuklayev at the time got injured, so he didn't pull 400. Everyone else pulled 400. We could be at a point where we get a whole lineup of guys that pull 1,000 pounds. That's pretty special.
Madness. Andy Black. He didn't even know any better. He just walked out there and lifted 1,000 pounds because everyone else was doing it.
That guy's just a freak of nature.
I was looking at Kazma thinking, geez, Kaz did just a 400, 402 or something.
Yes.
And Andy Black, who didn't even realise he shouldn't be pulling it as well. Go then.
It's come a long way. Anyway, Colin, thank you so much for talking to us today. Tell people where they can get tickets for any of the shows this year.
Yeah, thank you. Here at giants-live.com for all the information for all of the shows, and of course RoyalAlbertHall.com for this one right here. And hopefully you're obviously not going to be here competing, but you'll be here as a legend.
We will be here as legends, and Liz.
One of the old legends.
Well, hopefully the younger legends, but guys, make sure you get your tickets for the Giants Live show. It's going to be an amazing season, lots to look forward to, and lots of different athletes that we can expect to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be magnificent.
Colin Bryce, everyone.
While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.